picture this for a second. You've finally done it. You've bought the house. And I'm not talking about some fixer-upper. I mean, this is the estate. Maybe it's $5 million. It's got the marble floors, you know, the ones that are cold on your feet, the infinity pool looking out over the city.
The whole deal.
The whole deal. Visually, it is absolute perfection. But then you walk inside on a Tuesday night, and the air is just frigid. It's silent. There's no laughter, no warmth. You possess the house. Absolutely, the deed is in your name. But do you actually have a home?
It's that classic distinction, isn't it?
Yeah.
The massive gap between price, what you pay, and value, what you actually get.
Exactly. Or think about a diamond ring. A rock worth $1 million sitting on your finger. It sparkles, everyone stares at it. But does that rock guarantee the person who gave it to you actually loves you?
I think we know the answer to that. Historically, no. It guarantees you have a very expensive mineral on your hand. It says nothing about the heart.
Right. And that is exactly where we're starting today. We are taking a deep dive into a really thought-provoking message from Pastor Huzi King. This was just from a few days ago, January 26, 2026.
And the topic is money can't buy.
Yeah, and I know. That sounds like a cliche you'd see on a motivational poster or something.
It does sound a little bit like a bumper sticker at first, you know? The best things in life are free, that whole thing.
But really, don't click away, because this is not your standard money is evil lecture. It's actually a really nuanced, almost technical look at wealth. We're going to be talking about corrosion, smart snakes, the chemistry of gold,
and a courtroom drama where your own bank account takes the stand against you.
It's surprisingly gritty, and what's so fascinating is that the source creates this tension right from the get-go. The premise isn't that having money is a sin. The source is very clear on this.
It says it's acceptable to have the things money can buy.
So no guilt trip for my expensive coffee this morning.
No guilt trip for the coffee or the car. The danger, the fatal error, really, is if you have all those things, but you are completely bankrupt when it comes to the things money cannot buy.
It's an asset allocation problem.
Exactly. An issue of inventory, not just income.
So our mission today is to explore this whole idea of the corrosion of wealth. We're going to look at how the source distinguishes between wealth as a tool versus wealth as a weapon that, eventually turns on its owner.
And to do that, we have to start with the anchor text he uses. It's from the book of James, chapter 5.
And if you haven't read James lately, he doesn't really do subtle, does he?
He is the blunt instrument of the New Testament. He's not interested in being polite. And in this passage, he's talking to wealthy landowners who've been hoarding their cash while their workers starve. The imagery is, well, it's straight out of a horror movie.
It really is. The source highlights this description of gold and silver corroding, which, hold on, if I remember my high school chemistry, that's not possible, right? Gold doesn't rust.
Precisely. That's the whole point. That's the irony James is using here. He's describing a physical impossibility to make a spiritual point. He says your gold and silver have corroded, and that rust will testify against you. And then, get this, it will eat your flesh like fire. Eat your flesh like fire.
I mean, that is just so intense. Why dial it up that high? Is he just trying to scare people into donating?
It's deeper than a scare tactic. The source argues this isn't a blanket condemnation of anyone who's rich. It's very specific. The condemnation is for those who use money as a weapon.
A weapon instead of a tool.
Right. And the rust is the evidence of that. It proves the money was just sitting there hoarded.
So if it's rusting, it means it's stagnant.
Exactly. It's not circulating. It's not being used to build something or feed someone. It's just piling up. And the source frames all of this in the context of the last days.
Right, the whole end of the age idea.
The argument is basically, the project is ending. Why are you still hoarding supplies in the back room? It's not just futile, it's self-destructive.
It's like stocking up on ice cubes 5 minutes before the sun goes supernova. It's not just greedy, it's completely irrational.
That's a great way to put it. And this leads to what the source calls a great reversal. This is a huge theological point.
Yeah, it's this distinction between being rich in this age versus the coming age.
You could be poor now. I mean, struggling driving a beater car, but be incredibly rich in the afterlife.
Yeah.
And conversely, you could be flying private jets right now and be absolutely spiritually destitute.
And the source says the return of Jesus is what acts as the great equalizer. It could, and I'm quoting here, make some people poor and others rich, based only on their internal state. It just flips the script.
Which brings us to a story Pastor Hugh shares that perfectly illustrates this. It's about a famous preacher at a charity gala.
Oh, this story, it makes you cringe, but it's so revealing.
It really is.
So you have this famous preacher. He's invited by these wealthy businessmen to speak at a fundraiser. The goal is to raise money for the poor. Everyone's in tuxedos, the whole 9 yards.
High status event.
Very. But before he goes on stage, the organizers pull him aside, and they give him this explicit warning. They say, "Pastor, if you speak too long, we might cut the amount of money we plan to donate."
Just breathtaking audacity.
Isn't it? It's basically dance for us or the poor don't get their money.
And it's a perfect example of money as a weapon of control. The source uses this to illustrate that phrase, money talks. In this life, money dictates the terms.
Right. It tells the preacher how long he can speak.
But then the source pivots.
Yeah.
He says, yes, money talks now, but money will also talk, as in testify at the final judgment.
That's the rust testifying against you idea coming back.
Exactly. The very money they use to threaten the preacher becomes the evidence against them. It goes from being an asset to being a witness for the prosecution.
That is just heavy. And to make it personal, the source asks 3 questions. And I think we should just pose these directly to you, listening right now.
Okay.
Number 1, what do you own that strictly cannot be bought? And would you trade it for cash? It's kind of the indecent proposal question.
It is. And it's easy to say, oh, I wouldn't sell my integrity. But the source pushes you to look at the margins. Like, maybe you wouldn't sell your child, but do you sell your time with them for overtime pay you don't really need?
Oof. Okay, that hits a little harder. It's about the microtrades.
Every day. Yeah.
Question 2. Do you view yourself as rich or poor in the current age versus the coming age?
This really asks where your primary citizenship is. Are you investing in the local currency of Earth or the foreign currency of the kingdom? Which portfolio is actually doing better?
And number 3, why does money influence you the way it does? What's the why behind it? Is it security, status, fear?
And that answer is so different for everyone. For some people, money's a scorecard. For others, it's a fortress.
So from there, the source moves into this interesting theological comparison. He brings up the Apostle Paul versus James. And I want to make sure we don't lose anyone here. Why does this matter?
It matters because it addresses what's sometimes called the cheap grace problem. It's a classic tension. You have Paul, especially in Romans, focusing on justification by faith. It's all about grace. You can't earn it.
Okay, so Paul gets you the entry ticket.
Right. But then you have James, who says faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
It's all about behavior. He's saying, great, you have the ticket, but if you don't actually get on the dance floor, what's the point?
So we need both. The grace to get in the family, but then the instruction from James on how to actually act like family.
Exactly. And this leads to a really funny but true observation he makes about how the world sees Christians who try to live this out.
That they're weird.
Yes. Weird people, they have these high moral standards, they see power differently, they just seem completely out of step with the times.
You're a glitch in the matrix. If everyone is optimizing for maximum pleasure and profit and you're not, you look broken to them.
But there's a darker side to that, isn't there? The source talks about the problem of naivety.
Oh, this part was surprising, but so practical. The idea that religious people, because they value trust, are often prime targets for scams.
The gullible Christian trope.
It makes sense, though. If your default setting is to see others as basically good, you're vulnerable. And the source says when believers get tricked, the world doesn't just feel sorry for them, they think,
you really are an idiot.
you deserved it for being so naive.
Right. And the source says, and I love this line, goodness does not require stupidity.
That's so good. So what's the solution? Because you don't want to become a cynic.
No. And the source points to a specific command from Jesus to his disciples. He says, be shrewd as snakes and innocent as doves.
Snakes and doves. Okay, break that down. What does the snake quality look like in a good way?
Think of it as situational awareness. A snake knows where the threats are. It's not naive. So being shrewd as a snake means understanding how the world actually works. It means reading the fine print.
So it's intellectual defense?
Yes. But you have to pair that with the dove, which is about purity of intent. You don't use that worldly knowledge to exploit people. You use it to protect yourself and your mission.
So be smart enough to know when you're being played, but good enough not to play others.
That's it, exactly. It's about navigating a greedy world without losing your soul, but also without losing your shirt.
Which brings us to the modern landscape. And the source admits something I found really refreshing. Everyone wants money.
Right, it just cuts through all the fake humility.
He says if he asks, do you want money? And you say no, you're probably lying. And if you say I have enough, well, that's incredibly rare.
It just addresses that basic human desire, and then he zooms out to look at this on a macro scale, looking at Western nations that have been influenced by Christian faith.
Yeah, this was an interesting point. The source notes that these wealthy capitalist nations often take on the role of, like, the world police. Now, to be clear, the source isn't taking a political side here, right?
No, not at all. It's not an endorsement of a specific foreign policy. It's an observation about responsibility. The source suggests that with great wealth and power comes a perceived burden to maintain order.
To whom much is given, much is required.
That's the idea. And then he points to specific individuals, the real titans of wealth. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates.
This is key, because usually when you hear them brought up in a sermon, it's to say, see, you can't take it with you.
But the source flips it. He points out that these are men who can buy anything with a price tag. And yet, what do? They give billions away to solve public problems.
So why, I mean, really, why do that? They could just buy more islands.
Because they're seeking value in the things money can't buy. They've hit the ceiling of what cash can do for them personally. So they're trying to convert financial capital into, I don't know, social or moral capital. Legacy, public good.
It goes right back to that list of things money can't buy. The source gets really specific here.
Yeah, health is the big one. Money buys the best doctors, but it can't buy immortality. Steve Jobs couldn't buy a new pancreas.
Relationships was another, specifically parent-child affection.
You can buy your kid the latest gadget, pay for the best college, but you cannot write a check that makes them respect you. You can't buy a real conversation at Thanksgiving.
And then the ultimate one, the soul's destination. You can't wire transfer your way into heaven.
No crypto in the afterlife.
So this leads us to the final major section, and honestly, this might be the most practical part. It's the parable of the talents. Most people have heard this story. You know, the master gives money to servants, but the source frames it in a really specific way, focusing on the guy who buried the money.
The one-talent guy.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I've always felt a little bad for that guy. He didn't steal it, he didn't lose it, he just kept it safe. Why is the judgment on him so harsh?
The source defines his action not as caution, but as waste and speculation.
Speculation? That seems odd. I thought speculation was high-risk betting.
Well, he was speculating that he could do nothing and still be okay. He was betting on mediocrity. The source argues that wealth, money, time, ability, it's all a test, a resource you are responsible for multiplying. By burying it, he wasted the opportunity.
So doing nothing is an active choice to destroy value.
In an inflationary world, both economically and spiritually, stagnation is decay. If you're not growing, you're shrinking.
Wow, that is a brutal truth. So what's the blessing then, if it's not the pile of money?
The source argues the true blessing is the invisible trust. The fact that the master gave you the resources in the first place is the blessing. It means he trusts you. The return on investment you generate is just the proof that his trust was well placed.
That completely shifts the perspective. It's not, look at my stuff, I'm blessed. It's, look at my responsibility, I'm trusted.
Exactly. And since the message was delivered on a Monday, there's a direct call to action for our work lives. This isn't just about Sunday. It's about Monday morning.
The phrase he used was, go all out.
Go all out regardless of difficulties. Be honest, be upright, be brave.
I love that. It's not just work hard so you can get rich.
No. The source is saying your character is the invisible value. When you show up and you're diligent, when you don't cut corners, when you treat your team with respect, you are building something money can't buy. You're building a testimony.
It's the snake and dove thing again. You're working smart, that's the snake, but you're working with integrity. That's the dove.
And that combination is so rare. In a world of scammers and slackers, someone who is both competent and has high integrity, that is real wealth.
So let's try to bring this all together. We've covered a lot. Rusting gold, fundraising threats, buried talents. If we had to distill this down, what's the one big takeaway?
I think the summary is that money is neutral. It's just a magnifier. It becomes good or evil based on the heart's capacity. If you're generous, money makes you a philanthropist. If you're fearful, money makes you a hoarder.
So the goal isn't just to manage the money, it's to manage the person holding it.
Right. The source says our identity is built on that invisible process of character building, not the visible accumulation of assets. You are not what you own. You are how you use what you own.
That's a powerful place to land. But before we sign off, we want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to chew on.
We talked about rust testifying against you, but let's modernize it. Imagine if your bank account, not just the balance, but the entire transaction history, could take the witness stand in a court of law.
That's a terrifying thought.
If it could speak not just to where you spent, but why. If it could describe the anxiety behind your saving, or the reluctance in your giving, or the ego behind your purchases, if your transaction history could actually talk.
Would it defend you?
Would your bank account defend you as a builder, someone who used resources to create value? Or would it convict you as a hoarder who let the gold rust?
Oof, that is a question to sit with as you check your balance this week. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.